All right, so welcome to the next little video clip on the theory topics. This one deals with skills and environment. And really, this is one where your experience as an instructor is really, a lot of the sources for your answers. Because if you think about it, you learn about dive skills and the environment. Again, already from the open water diver course, the advanced open water is a great place to research some of those skill and environment facts. And then of course rescue diver and then dive master as well. So as we've said now for some of the other topics, take the time to go back to open water e-learning, add advanced open water e-learning now, and review the main topics there. From a kind of consolidated place where you can find the information, of course the encyclopedia is great. Those dive master presentation notes we mentioned are a great resource as well. And then when you go into e-learning, use the Dive Master e-learning that you as an instructor have a copy of, and you go to Dive Theory Review to look at the content there. But I think for this subject, skills and environment, I would use Dive Theory Online as my main source for the information, the facts themselves, but also as your resource for the questions that come up. So to give you an example, if we talk about skills first of all, so here I am in the Dive Theory Online for skills. I'm going to go to problem management skills to look at those. And just as an example for you here, I'm going to go to the end of this presentation and where I get to the quick review questions, I'm going to assign this question maybe to my Dive Master candidates to test their skill knowledge. And it asks, the preferred place to locate an alternate air source is, and then one of these answers, right? Now, hopefully it shouldn't take much thinking because you're an open water diver at least, right? And you learn already there, that is the famous triangle. So that's going to be the answer in here. But then, as we've said in these other presentations, after your Dive Master candidate answers the question, then have them explain it as well. And this is cool because now you're really testing that foundational information that we mentioned earlier. It's not about answering question after question. It's showing you that they really understand the subject matter. And the best way to kind of gauge that is to ask them to explain. So as that Dive Master then explains how they answer that, what you're kind of looking for is that they're going to explain the content that comes summarized here in Dive Theory Online, where we talk about the triangle between the chin and the two hip corners in there, and that the alternate air source that we use, if it's an octopus, an alternate air source, or an air 2, or whatever it is, that second stage is going to be somewhere in that form here. You can also maybe have them use a BCD and a regulator to illustrate it, kind of dress up with it, or at least show where it goes. They can draw a picture in here. And this is something that you're always going to relate to real diving. So you can talk about that if you use a clip, how it's hanging in that triangle zone. If you're using a stashing method where you put the hose into a D-ring or to a pocket, then it's going to be in that area. And possibly even if someone's using a necklace breakaway type thing, whatever the system they use, that second stage should be somewhere in that zone. Okay? And then when it comes to the environment, I would again use Dive Theory Online as my source. So I go to the heading, which is environment. It's very useful for me to find that quickly. And again, I would use these quick review questions that pop up within e-learning as my sample of questions. So here, as an example, let me look at tides. And I'm going to pick question 3 from this, which deals with when's the best time to dive. And so you give this to your Dive Master candidates, have them answer this question. We're going to dive somewhere where there's a strong tidal current. What tidal position should they dive? And then we've got some options. Now, for some of you as instructors, you might think, well, it's high slack tide, right? But the key thing here in the question is it refers to strong tidal currents. So it's more the current, the tidal movement that we're concerned with, and that's where we're going to end up with the correct answer being slack tide. So as your Dive Master candidate answers this question, you might have some discussion with them about that truly the best time to dive ever, which is fantastic time to dive, is at slack high tide. But here the question is dealing with the speed of the current, and that's why slack works whether it's high or low in there. This is a good one to, again, use a visual reference as well. So when you ask your dive master candidate to explain why they say that, what I'm looking for as an instructor is I might look to see that the dive master is maybe drawing a picture where they have maybe a sloping beach, sloping bottom leading up to the beach, and how at low tide there's not much water depth in column 2 to spread the sediment around. Certainly, if there's any kind of movement going on, I don't want to be diving there because it's strong. And then at high tide, if I draw another picture, now I've got a big water column. All that clean water has come in from the ocean, is now next to the beach, and that gives me more water space to put sediment in and so on. And because there's no movement, since it's slack tide, that's why that high slack tide comes in as best. So again, use Dive Theory Online as your source for questions here, as well as source for the background. And as always, ask if you have any questions.